best dancers of all time. They must have a trophy cupboard bigger than this house. But they've got one more to add to it. Ladies and gentlemen, Torvill and Dee. Take a seat. I know you're not looking forward to this. Back in the early 80s, I did a series called Time of Your Life where we invited well-known people to select the year in which they felt something significant had happened to them. And we decided that we would resurrect the programme for one special occasion to try and catch these two people. Everything you'll see is totally fictitious. They nominated 1984, and this has to be the worst TV production that you have ever seen in your life. I mean, I was bad as well. Time of Your Life has star guests, it has reunions, it has music from the charts, it has facts, but they're all lies. Time of Your Life has a star who comes in and says that he's a long-lost friend. I mean, he's known him for years and admired them. Lionel Blair, they've never met him. Time of Your Life is a complete pack of lies. They carry it off. I can't tell you the patience. It took 2 hours to do a half-hour programme. And ladies and gentlemen, it's the first time I've ever been in a gotcha right from the beginning to the very end. Time of Your Life. We go back to 1984 and the biggest pack of lies you've ever seen. Jayne and Chris, welcome. Have you got good memories? Are you good at remembering what happened back in 1984?
84 was pretty special for us, yeah. Sarajevo Olympics was a huge year for us.
Yeah. Well, there was one other man who was making the headlines in his world of ice in 1984. He was into the Guinness Book of Records for the biggest ice sculpture that had ever been carved. Will you please welcome George Griffin? Here's a chance to look at some of the ice sculpting. Can you just talk us through this, George?
This was about 83, and that was a commission for an American art dealer.
What's that? What's that one?
Oh yeah, it's called Greensleeves, believe it or not, and it was an exhibition work I did for the Royal College of Art. I think that was 80. That was actually 86.
Was it? Oh, crumbs. That's impressive.
That's actually, it's actually in Legoland in Denmark.
Is it?
And they commissioned it, yeah, they wanted an ice castle for the winter.
I've got a challenge for you.
Yeah.
I would like you to do an ice sculpture of Jayne and Chris.
You want this now?
Yes, we've managed with your workmates. All your tools are outside. You'll have to go outside to do it because we want to get on with the show. But by the end of the show, we hope that you will have done something rather interesting with Torvill and Dee. From the cold ice to the hot charts of 1984. Right at the top of the chart was Stevie Wonder with I Just Called to Say I Love You. And at number 8 was The Love Bus. And it was by a band called The Noisy Boys. We traced them. They've reformed for us. So would you please welcome on Time of Your Life, The Noisy Boys. Thank you, the Noisy Boys, who have not been that noisy recently. They've been fairly quiet. Do you remember that one?
No.
Didn't do Germany.
You didn't?
We're in Germany still.
Yeah.
What? Yes, you agreeing with me?
Can we actually say that we do remember it? Because it was a big hit at the time.
Sure.
Yeah?
So, Jayne and Chris can actually go.
Do you mind just saying this? Oh, will they? On on this shambles of a show play along and be good sports and actually say that they've heard of this non-existent band? The Love Bus from the Noisy Boys, who have been fairly quiet of late, but we all remember it from 1984. You remember that one, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep, made it to Germany too.
Yeah, good. So, how about boys, the big hit? Jayne and Christopher were not alone in a... Come on. Is that George Griffin with his eyes? He's not going to come out at the end of it with a cube, is he? Just look at this for a moment.
Olympic gold medals for the greatest ice dancers of all time.
While Jayne and Christopher were having that magic moment, indeed the time of their life in 1984, somebody else was having a very, very special occasion. The young lady who was holding the cushion on which your medal sat. And those pictures that were beamed around the world set off an international romance. And half of that romance is here. Dave Mitchell. Where are you, Dave? Hello. You've never met her. And indeed, she lives in Los Angeles, but not tonight. 6,000 miles from the States to time of your life. Would you please welcome Sofia Pilapovic. Excuse me. Hello. Would you like to sit down a moment and just... Is this a good moment?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Good. And I don't know. I'm absolutely stuck for anything to say. What are you thinking about?
I think it's amazing. I think it's wonderful. I'm glad we won the gold.
Well, thank you both for joining us. And now we come to the time of your life memory lane quiz. You've already given us your excuses. You're in Germany and you didn't know what was going on. But I got 10 questions here about 1984. Let's see how many of them you can get right. What discovery did amateur astronomer Barry Codd make in 1984? It was a new moon orbiting Saturn. What did the islands of Malada and Ardive merge to become in 1984?
We're going to sound really dumb, aren't we?
Yeah.
No, I don't know that one.
It was the Maldives.
I was going to say that.
Well, of course you were. Of course. Actually, my mic. Are you getting that rumbling noise on the mic?
Let's do that one again.
Then I could say it.
Have a quick look, because you ought to get some of them.
See, I was going to say that.
Maldives, there you go.
Right. Let's see how many of these you can get right. What discovery did amateur astronomer Barry Codd make this year?
Was it something about Saturn? Was it...
Very good. It was a new moon orbiting Saturn. What did the islands of Malada and Ardive merge to become in 84?
Maldives.
The Maldives. So what we're going to do... What the hell is that?
It's the ice.
Here is a chap who's been a huge fan of yours for years. I believe he's a close friend. We'll all know him the moment he walks in. Lionel Blair. Jayne and Chris, what a thrill.
Well, I have a bit of a confession to make to you. A friend of mine owned a restaurant in Nottingham called the Hot Brick Cafe. Do you remember the Hot Brick?
Yes.
And I persuaded them to let me dress up as a waiter one day in disguise and roller skated on and served you.
Oh.
Really?
Yes. And it was front page news of the Nottingham Post or something. It was a, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, just to say, it was a pleasure to serve you.
It was a good disguise.
Lionel Blair, a good disguise. Thank you for joining us.
And then we managed to get them to wear the fashions of '84. Unfinished business, because at the beginning of tonight's show we introduced you to the man who holds a world record for ice carving, George Griffin, who went away having been commissioned to come up with something to honour Jayne and Chris. I'll tell you what, come up here as well. Come around there. And before we unveil it, George, do you want to say anything about how difficult it was, or what have you captured here?
Well, it was a bit difficult because they kept stopping me.
Would you like to unveil your ice sculpture, which is a gift from all of us?
Thank you very
Come
much.
around so we can see it.
Oh, wow.
And ladies and gentlemen, there is no such show as Time of Your Life, and Jayne and Chris, we gotcha. Jayne, Chris, it was after meeting you in Newcastle and you gave me that funny look and you thought I was going to do you up there. And I just thought, we got to do it again.
I'm proud of these now.
Doesn't measure up to the rest
Good
of the
liar,
things that you
aren't
got. Ladies and gentlemen, Jayne and Chris, Torvill and Chris.